stablecoins are taking center stage, and with good reason. If you've been following the channel over the past few weeks, you already know that they're the foundation of a lot of discussions in the cryptocurrency community. Why? Since they are very necessary. Consider it. Stablecoins are the link that allows trillions of dollars to flow from one network to another. Stablecoins are the cornerstone that lays the groundwork for widespread cryptocurrency adoption. They are a game changer that is facilitating the very future of digital finance, not just a trendy term. Hold on tight. Stablecoins are the topic of conversation, not just a component of it. Let's get started and examine the reasons behind their significance. Everything we've been talking about regarding XRP and other utility-based initiatives is going to be accelerated by stablecoins. And there are some significant changes occurring in the space at the moment. For instance, the CEO of Bank of America recently stated that the company is developing a solid cryptocurrency of its own. It's not exactly brand new information. Rumors concerning it have been circulating for some time. The CEO stated back in January that should regulators give their approval, they are prepared to completely adopt cryptocurrency payments. They subsequently stated in March that they were actively investigating the earliest feasible launch of a stable coin. Again, this is still a hot topic, and when you think about it, it's quite crazy depending on regulatory approval. Today's stablecoins are approaching $3 trillion, 0 cents in monthly transfers. I recently made reference to this in a video, but really, when will we acknowledge that this is the new money? We have been discussing this digital fiat revolution for years. Do you recall when CBDCs caused such a stir? Stablecoins are essentially the CBDCs. So here we are. They are already in use and are programmable digital fiat money on the blockchain. The speed at which all of this is occurring is astounding. Stablecoins have completely exploded in the last year. They have gone to the point where it is impossible to ignore them anymore. To be honest, I believe that 2022 marked a sea change. Stablecoins were clearly the way of the future. Why? That's because at the time we were already competing with industry titans like Visa and MasterCard with an annual transfer volume of almost $11 trillion. Stablecoins have now totally overtaken them. They can be found anywhere. Additionally, there is a competition to control the stablecoin market. Everyone is investing in banks, businesses, and even the United States, which is considering introducing its own stable currency. Stable currency releases for big players have been increasing recently. For instance, SocGen has introduced a stablecoin in the US dollar on Solana and Ethereum. This bank intends to introduce its ERV stablecoin on the XRP ledger this year, which is likely why the name sounds similar. I'm keeping an eye on that, but there haven't been any significant updates as of yet. Because Ripple Custody is collaborating with SG Forge, additionally, it is a steady coin in the euro, which is significant. We already know that the XRP ledger will soon see the introduction of another euro stable coin. Europe might be the one to keep an eye on, in my opinion. Any stable coin in that area is significant due to the MiCA compliance they must achieve. However, I'm still investigating. However, the US dollar stablecoin that is being introduced on Solana and Ethereum is also quite significant. This type of action is becoming more and more common, so it's absolutely something to watch. At the moment, USD stablecoins are moving in significant ways. The US is investing heavily in digital assets, such as stablecoins backed by the dollar, for the following reasons. A significant addition to that is the Clarity Act. To review, the Clarity Act is already passed and is currently on its way to the House floor, as I highlighted in a recent video. Okay, therefore the Genius Bill is currently our primary emphasis, aside from the Clarity Bill. And believe me when I say that this is a huge thing, do not misunderstand me. The Genius Bill is the next big item we need to watch. But the Clarity Act was huge. Why? Because it will significantly open up the stablecoin market. At XRP Las Vegas, Brad Garlinghouse actually alerted us to this. He also made it apparent that a significant change is on the horizon. Many thanks for sharing this, digital asset investor. There will be significant adjustments in the near future. Now is the perfect moment to check it out if you haven't already. This may sound a bit dramatic, but it's a fantastic time to be alive and witness the change from headwinds to tailwinds. And I believe that people still don't realize how significant it will be when the world's biggest economy and the most significant regulatory agencies change from being openly and actively antagonistic and unhelpful to being helpful. How can we work with this industry? The oceanic chain is enormous. I believe that people don't realize how important that will be in 2025, 2026, and beyond. Now, I believe that one of the things in the hidden road process specifically is that Ripple tries to be somewhat at the infrastructure layer. We attempt to consider the direction of the globe and place wagers that will be realized over many years. As I've always mentioned, this group in particular has been incredibly patient with us during some really annoying arguments. But the main goal of the Hidden Road acquisition is to keep bridging the gap between decentralized and traditional finance. And I think the DeFi world will simply develop and replace it if you think it will just be okay. I don't think so. We must close that gap. And for nearly 10 years, Ripple has been assisting our payments industry and filling that gap. And in my opinion, Hidden Road stands for the inclusion of the biggest hedge funds and market makers in the world in this ecosystem. To make that possible, we need the necessary infrastructure. One of the non-bank prime brokers with the quickest rate of growth is Hidden Road. Traditional commercial banks make up the majority of the players in the prime broker market. And because of the regulatory dynamic, those guys have been some players in the world, however, use Hidden Road, which I believe is a subtle, almost flex to their hundreds of customer names. They cleared $3 trillion last year and they're expanding rapidly. To be honest, given Ripple's balance sheet, we're only going to see this accelerate, which is fantastic for the XRP ecosystem and for us. As I continue to remind people, Ripple is fully committed to doing everything in our power to make XRP the most reliable, practical, and liquid digital asset in the world. That is what we'll always be dedicated to. The US market is now experiencing some of the largest movements, and the last 12 months have seen a significant amount of upheaval. To be honest, it's sort of crazy to watch, but it only serves to highlight how quickly things can change, particularly in the cryptocurrency space. Furthermore, price action is not the only factor. There is more to cryptocurrency than just the possibility of price explosions within a few days or even months. It's far more extensive than that. Technology is evolving at a breakneck pace. This is what I've always stated, because when you think about it, simply take a look at what's going on outside of the United States. Technology is always evolving. It never takes a nap. Guess what will happen if this technology is genuinely revolutionary, incredibly effective, and enables us to do things we were previously unable to do? Whether the United States likes it or not, it is likely to be implemented. We take seriously any significant moves made by other nations in these tech races. The United States is now beginning to act for just that reason. These issues are becoming too significant to ignore. You're talking about significant changes. Senator John Thune made a bold statement yesterday, the 11th, stating that cryptocurrency is here to stay and that it's time to make it more widely accepted. Let's explore that. President, a sizable portion of Americans are using cryptocurrencies. Americans who use stablecoins are included in this. Additionally, there are people and companies all throughout the world that use dollar-backed stables to access the US dollar. Stablecoins are currently a relatively new financial concept, but their popularity has grown rapidly. They provide simple payments using the stability and usefulness of the dollar note along with the speed and security of the blockchain. They currently have almost $250 billion in circulation. According to reports, established financial institutions are thinking about entering the stablecoin market. Additionally, it has been suggested that organizations such as Uber and Airbnb are considering incorporating them into their operations. Cryptocurrency is here to stay, according to one president, and it's time for us to make it more widely known. The Genius Act passage is a wise first move. Stable currencies would have a defined regulatory structure thanks to the Genius Act. It would guarantee that when Americans buy stable coins, they can trust the people they are doing business with, enabling them to confidently exercise their financial independence. Additionally, the Genius Act would defend against dangers to our national security as well as from illegal conduct. Stablecoin issuers would have to follow the same guidelines as other financial organizations in order to keep an eye out for and report suspicious activity, abide by US sanctions, and stop illegal transactions.